Hello everyone, my name is Rosemary and I am the Learning Resource Center Technician at the Beaver Dam campus. Today I'm going to walk through some information about how you can use library databases to locate articles and resources for your classwork. First, before we really dive into the website, let's talk about what a database is. An academic database is something very different from how you would use Google or Wikipedia. A database is a collection of published sources from academic journals, newspapers, and magazines. You are able to search these databases by subject terms, authors, phrases, and other categories in order to refine your results. As I mentioned, using a database is very different than using Google. In Google, you can get the most popular results by searching any combination of words and phrases. Google provides results by what most commonly gets clicked on or what can provide a good ad revenue. It does not always provide quality or trustworthy sources. Now, some things to keep in mind before you start looking at our databases is how you are going to evaluate your sources. If we go to My Campus, Library, Research Help, Evaluating Sources tab, this is a good place to kind of give a quick reference to before you begin using our library databases. Some important things to think about and pay close attention to when you're looking for quality sources is your author. Is your author someone who has experience in your subject area? Have they published anything else, and what is their educational background in? This can be under the authoritative tab here. You also can think about the date that your source was published. It can be very important to make sure the date of your article is fairly recent. For anything related to the medical field or science field, it's best to have your source be no older than 5 years old. For things like history or philosophy or other things like that, 10 years is really the maximum for a relevant and quality source to have. Most of the times there is something that's been more recent or current, like this tab here says. You also want to think about your publication source. If your article is published by a journal that is reputable in its subject area, then you can feel more confident in the author's authority and research claims. A bigger thing to think about is the objective. What is the purpose of the source that you're looking at? Is there a bias or slant given to the information provided? Is there some alternative intention that they're not stated right out of the gate? You can think critically about the sources that you're finding in order to find the most relevant materials. Now, if we go to My Campus, Library, Research Tools, Find Articles, this tab will bring you to the web page that lists the library's data. These are a list of library databases divided by subject themes. This will help you identify which database will be most beneficial in providing you with relevant resources. We have things from education, business topics, health sciences and nursing, as well as some trade and science and technology databases. Today, we're going to focus on an overall general database called Academic Search Premier. Once we open this database, it'll bring us to an EBSCOhost web page, and it'll tell us searching Academic Search Premier. You also have this tab called Choose Databases right next to the database that we clicked. If we click this, you can see a list of other databases that you may want to include or exclude from your search results. You can hover over the text balloon to get a brief description of what the database entails and what its focus is on. If you want even more information about which resources are included in the database, click the Detailed View button up here. But for right now, we're going to start with a very general basic search result to show you some key things that will be helpful when you're using our databases. So we're going to do a test search. And this gives us over 120,000 search results, which is quite a lot. So we want to narrow this down to find the most relevant resources for us to use. These can be refined using these filters here on the left side. First, limiting to full text will provide you with sources the library has access to right now that you can click and use right away. If you find an article or in a database that does not have HTML full text or PDF full text as an option for you, you can also interlibrary loan materials from other campuses. Please reach out to our interlibrary loan librarian in order to figure out the best way to do that for you. Next, we're going to go down to source types. Sometimes your classes will require you to have a certain type of sources to use in your classwork. Most often, this means an academic journal. An academic journal means that their content has been evaluated and scrutinized by experts in their given field, which in turn makes them one of the more valuable sources of information you can find because it's considered to be more trustworthy and accurate. Next, we're going to limit our publication date. As I mentioned before, the most relevant results are typically published within the last 5 years, especially for subjects like science, medical knowledge, and technology research. So we're going to type in to our little box here, 2015, which will significantly limit our search time period. You can also, if you scroll down further, restrict by language if you have a preference. At our search results, we've gone from over 120,000 to just 83 results. This is much more manageable, and you don't have to click through a bunch of different options to see what is most applicable to your work. Now, I want to show you how to use advanced search. This is underneath our little search box here. If we click this window brings you to the advanced search option, which will allow you to further limit your search results. We can search by multiple words and phrases. We can search by subject terms, title, author, and even more detailed options, but these are the most common 3 or 4 that are available and most used by students. And then you can also use these things called Boolean search terms. This drop-down menu provides you the option to have and, so dogs and mental health, tells the database that the results should include all of the search terms that you've listed. Or is great for if you're searching similar concepts. This allows you to broaden your results, and the materials can include search term A, so dogs, or search term B, so dogs or canine. You will get options with both of the search terms listed. The final one is the phrase not. This will exclude any search term from your results, so dogs, not cats. So similarly, if we scroll down, we can limit to full text, put in a year range, and limit in English to in the advanced search category. When we click search, we get 20 results as opposed to the 83 results that were previously listed. Now, I want to show you something really quick to pay attention to. And really important tip is that when you're reading through these articles, instead of opening up each PDF file and reading through the whole thing in its entirety, before deciding, it's not really relevant to your work, it's always important to read the abstract listed here below. The abstract will provide a solid summary of what and why the author has conducted their research. It's always good to see if the findings addressed in the abstract align with your own topics of research. If the abstract does not seem relevant to your work, then it's probably best to move on to a different source. This is typically all of the information that will be included when you're searching databases. Another interesting thing to pay attention to is this category listed here that says subject terms. If you're looking for more options to search databases and what phrases or terminology you can be using, if you find one really good source in a database, check out and see what subject terms they are using. You may be able to find more relevant sources. Now that we've walked through a little bit how to use a database, how to use search terms, how to access our full text of the articles that we're using for our research, I want to look at some more specific options available for you to use that can be course specific. So we're going to go back to the Find Articles tab available through the library website, and we're going to scroll down to our Science tab, and we're going to go to Access Science. This looks very different compared to our last database that we looked at that's available through EBSCOhost because it's a different provider. But you're still going to have the same options available for you. There's still a search bar listed here. There's still the advanced search option where you can use and or in your search results. And if we go back and do a test research like climate change, this will provide some different options on the screen in this drop-down menu, but we're just going to stick with climate change and click search. Similarly, on the left side, you can limit to content type, topics, etc., and refine your search results. So paying attention to what kind of search terminology you're using and what kind of results that you're getting to further narrow it down is important. Sim articles page and go to ProQuest Nursing and Allied Health Source. Again, looks different compared to the two previous databases, but it opens up to the advanced search option, and we're going to search mental health. There's a drop-down menu if you would like to include more specific or general search terms. And you can scroll down and you can see more specific things related to the health field, such as your age group. But you still have also the general ones, such as language or document type, that you can limit your search results with. Similarly, we can search subject headings, authors, publication titles, etc. So when we search mental health, we get quite a few results, and we can limit by full text again. We can limit by scholarly journals, when it was last published, so 5 years, 10 years, 12 months. The medical field is typically more fast changing, so you want to pick the most recent information related to your subject. So again, on the left side of your screen is all the filters that you can have to narrow in on the relevant results that you need. Once you're comfortable with using one of the library databases, it gets easier and easier with the more specific ones that are relevant to your courses as you go along. Of course, if you have any trouble deciding what database you need, how to search it, what combination of phrases that will get you the best results, please come ask our librarians. We will be happy to help and sit down with you at the library via email or phone call to walk you through finding the resources that you need for your courses. I hope this was helpful. If you need anything, please reach out for any questions, and thank you for your time.